Hello, this is James. Yes, I've heard about the ban list. Yes, this is the video about that very thing. So for those of you that don't know, the phone app, it's not automatically updated. You manually update it. You go to whatever app store, download 3.5.0. Coincidentally, the update that fixes Last Gamble and Break Up the Sleeve. And you go down to the bottom, you go to the card store, go down to the bottom of any box, you check the Forbidden Limited list, and we see we have some new additions. So we have our normal level 2, limited 2 cards, limited 1 cards, and a bunch of weird other stuff. As if you tap on them, like these blank cards are just completely blank, and then you can't really see any information because this is like a spell, and it's just on a completely blank card. So I think that like the tiny images got loaded, but the big images did not. So in this video, we're going to discuss each and every card because I took some screenshots, and when I blow them up, we are able to see important details like the card name, and I was able to look up all of them. So we're gonna talk about all of them. Before we dive into this, does this leaked ban list have any bearing on reality? I don't think so. I think it was just for like testing purposes. They're seeing what cards, like they're testing, event cards and like legendary duelist cards, and using the attributes of I think the virus cards are used to test whether or not the game has other cards properly tagged. We can go into that later, but so in this video, let's just show all of the screenshots. In this video, we're going to talk about every single one of these cards, so that you, like James, can read too much into tiny scraps of information and overthink everything. We're going to go in order with a notable exception of Earthbound Immortals. So this is not the first hint of the Earthbound Immortals. They've definitely been leaked in like other leaks. There's been like a stack of cards, and then one of the boxes that's grayed out is like some of the Earthbound Immortal cards. Earthbound Immortal Kekapak Apu. So all the Earthbound Immortals, what they do is they adjust their viewer, and hold on. Okay. There can only be one. They have to have a face-up card. They have to have a face-up field spell, and your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. This card can attack the opponent directly. And Kakaapu, its card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to destroyed monster's original attack. And Earthbound Immortal Asla Pisku. Asla Pisku has all the Earthbound Immortal properties, and this card can attack. When this face-up card leaves the field, except by its own effect, destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict 800 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. So what's crazy about these two cards? Well, these two Earthbound Immortal, I'm not going to spoil anything, but these two Earthbound Immortals belong to the two Dark Signers that are most significant to the signer duelists that we currently have in 5D's world. Most significant to Yusei, and most significant to Jack, my forbidden secret waifu. So does this herald a... Now, I don't think that we were strong enough to be having Earthbound Immortals like available to us players, but does this herald like a legendary duelist signer, dark signer duelist event in 5D's world? Possibly. And again, these two Immortals have very large narrative significance. Okay. So first, Elemental Hero Sparkman. Does Elemental Hero Sparkman belong on any ban list? I think no, but I play exclusively Duel Links, so my opinion of Elemental Heroes is generally low. But it's like Sparkman. That makes me think that it's a test, right? For whatever reason, they put Sparkman on the ban list so that they could test whether or not it works, whether or not Sparkman does I don't know, something. Elemental Absorber. Remove from play one monster card from your hand. To activate this card, your opponent's monsters that have the same attribute as the monster removed by this effect cannot declare an attack. That's kind of huge, isn't it? Remove from play one monster. Same attribute as the monster removed by this effect cannot declare an attack. Well, I guess it would encourage multi-attribute decks, but you could also just force everybody to buy Cosmic Cyclone to remove the Elemental Absorber. So two things, like this is pretty strong for a PvP card, and it's also like way stronger than any legendary duelist card. Like this would prevent farming, like this would prevent free-to-play farming on a legendary duelist, unless you had some pretty. Basically, the best removal cards are ultra rares. So I don't know. I don't know about ultra rare Elemental Absorber in Duel Links. Elemental Hero Shining Phoenix Enforcer. 300 attack for each Elemental Hero card in your graveyard. Cannot be destroyed by battle, but can be downgraded by Wall of D. Can he be added? I think so. Neospatian Grand Mole. At the start of the damage step, this card battles an opponent's monster. You return both opponent's monster and this card to the hand. Aggressive upgrade to Hane Hane. I could have sworn that this was like a Jaden legendary duelist card, like either Spunky Jaden or Gate Jaden, but I checked it and it's not. Could we get Neospatian Grand Mole? Yeah, I think so, because it's countered by Canadia, and if you Canadia it and then attack into it, like I don't think it gets its effect off, right? Somebody check me on that. Elemental Hero Phoenix Enforcer. Must be fusion summoned, cannot be special summoned by other ways. Card cannot be destroyed by Batoru. So that's probably the best Elemental Hero after Wild, Tornado, and Gaia. Can he be added to Duel Links? Yes, please. Elemental Hero Aero Neos. So all the Neos fusion monsters take the materials, in this case Neos and Hummingbird. Can only be special summoned from your extra deck by returning the above cards you control to the deck. You do not use polymerization. While your life points are lower than your opponent's card, gains attack equal to the difference. I like that. Gives Elemental Heroes a fighting chance. Grand Neos, shuffle Neos and Grand Mole. Once you turn target one monster your opponent controls, return that target to the hand. During the end phase, shuffle this card. Oh yeah, and all the Neoses get shuffled into the extra deck during the end phase. Wow, yeah, that's an Elemental Hero ultra rare if I've ever seen one. Ooh. But he doesn't have any inherent protection, and he can easily be Canadian, so I wouldn't. I think he could be added. Elemental Hero Magma Neos. So he just gains 400 attack for each card on the field. Neos, Flame Scarab, and Neospatian Grand Mole. He just gets huge, and he's really hard to summon. Definitely could be added to Duel Links. Burstinatrix, test ban list most likely. Don't worry about Burstinatrix. Avian was also on there. Inferno Fire Blast. Here's I was talking about like emergency ban list, like level of card. Again, like the cards range from don't matter. Why is this on the ban list? To we can't have this, and this is the latter. Inferno Fire Blast. Target one Red Eyes Black Dragon in your monster zone. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. Red Eyes Black Dragon cannot attack the turn you activate this card. So we have Red Eyes Insight that searches this. You just save up your Inferno Fire Blast. You just need 2. Red Eyes Black Dragon is 2400 attack. That's easy lethal. And you just have Red Eyes Insight, Spirit, Red Eyes Black Dragon. Keep threatening your opponent's board until they run out of Canadia, and then bam, 2 Inferno Fire Blast. We cannot have this card at all. Like, they would give it to us and then ban it a week later, because it would make the game unplayable. Hammer Shot. Destroy one face-up attack position monster with the highest attack. If it is a tie, you get to choose. So this in the virus cards makes me think of like a debugging card. Like, is the game correctly registering when a monster has the highest attack? Like whether or not it's buffed, like that kind of thing. So Hammer Shot. But then why is it on a fake ban list? Like that, I can't explain. Neos Wise Man, Neos, and Ubel. Cannot be special summoned by either way. Must be fusion summoned by sending Neos and one Ubel. You control the graveyard. Cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. At the end of the damage step, this card battles an opponent's monster. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the opponent's equal to the attack of the monster battle, and you gain life points equal to that monster's defense. Wowzers. I don't think that this can be added to Duel Links because like it's hard to do, like even Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon can't get over this naturally. And, you know, the alternative is card effects, which this is immune to. However, it's not immune to Canadia plus card effects. But it's also reasonably easy to summon. So if you open Perfect, if you have Disciple of Nephthys, Ubel, Neos, and Ancient Rules, you can get this guy out, no sweat. If you're going turn 1 and give your opponent a big headache. Can this come to Duel Links? I think no. But I understand why everybody on my Ubel videos is excited about Neos Wise Man. Crush Card Virus. So this was the first like Yu-Gi-Oh card that shocked me, like in the anime where when Kaiba used it to blow up Yugi's whole deck. I was like, what? You can have cards that do that? And Tribute 1, and you know, and it was a special thing because it was a prize card for the tournaments, but it was too strong and it got really errated out. So Tribute 1 Dark Monster, 1,000 or less attack. Your opponent takes no damage until the end of the turn after this card resolves. Also, you look at your opponent's hand and all monsters they control. And if you do, destroy the monsters among them with 1,500 or more attack. Then your opponent can destroy up to 3 monsters with 1,500 or more attack in their deck. So this is, again, like Hammer Shot makes me think of a debugging card. Like, does this card have the specific status? Can this card come to Duel Links? Like, in its errated form where the opponent gets to choose whether or not to destroy? Yeah, certainly. Snatch Steal, forbidden in the OCG, forbidden in the TCG Advanced. Equip only to a monster your opponent controls. Take control of the equipped monster during each of your opponent's standby phases. They gain 1,000 life puntos. Yeah, I like Snatch Steal. Are we going to get it? Well, if it's too strong for the OC... Well, and you know what? And it doesn't have to still be on the field to keep the monster, right? Like if it gets sent back to the hand by like Giant Trunade, which we also don't have, not Hey Trunade, Giant Trunade, you can use it to steal another monster. And that's probably why it's forbidden. Can this come to Duel Links? Would definitely be limited 3 if it was. And then here's another Giant Trunade card. So Dzeev had a video. Why is Premature Burial banned? Why can't it come back? So basically, and you know what? Yeah, that's probably why. That's probably why they're both forbidden. So you have Giant Trunade. You have Premature Burial. Premature Burial, activate this card by paying 800 LP. Target one monster in your graveyard, special summon that target in attack position, equipped with this card. When this card is destroyed, destroy the equipped monster. So you play Premature Burial, and then you play Giant Trunade, and you get Premature Burial back, and you get to play it again. So it's 2 monsters, special summoned from the graveyard, any 2 that you want that can be special summoned. And it only costs 2 cards from your hand and 1,600 life points. So that's the dank combo. And it's the good version of the crappy card we have, which is Overdone Burial. Can this come to Duel Links? Well, we don't have Giant Trunade, so I think that is possible. Gale Dogra, pay 3,000 life points, dump an extra deck monster. Can this come to Duel Links? Yes. It only benefits Cyberdarks at the moment, and they are like a tier 4 deck. Non-aggression area, you can only activate this card during your standby phase. Discard 1 card from your hand your opponent cannot normal summon, set, and or special summon during his or her next turn. So you're effective, like normal summoning, that's the big play on your turn. That's the big thing you get for free. Is it a good idea to take that away in Duel Links? I'd be interested to see how that would work. And you have to activate it during your standby phase, and it's unblockable because nobody uses counter traps. I think so. Ultra rare, definitely. Would be limited 3, definitely. But yeah, you know what? I can also make an argument for this being a debugging card. Like, does this activate, and then does other things happen, and then can you not normal summon? Like, do we have normal summons and sets and special summons correctly tagged? Like the new normal summons and especially the new special summons, are they correctly tagged in the game to be prevented by this card? Manju of the 10,000 Hands. It's like Sonic Bird and Senju stuck together. Add ritual monster or ritual spell from your deck to your hand when it's normal summoned or flip summoned. I don't want this to be added to the game because I want ritual decks to die, so I don't have to like keep feeling like I want to go for Senju and Sonic Bird and Manju. Just because ritual decks, like, they're less. I think that they're generally worse than, you know, every other type of boss monster deck, which is to say, we have the extra deck now. I don't want to have to draw my boss monster or pay for the privilege of searching him or her. Chain Detonation, so 500 damage to the opponent. If this card is activated as Chain Link 2 or 3, add this card to the deck and shuffle it. If this card is activated as Chain Link 4 or higher, return this card to the hand. We already have these like chain cards. I don't think we have Chain Detonation. Could this be added to Duel Links? Certainly. But maybe they're using it to debug the Chain Link cards. But then why are these cards on the ban list? I don't know. Dragonic Tactics, tribute 2 dragons, special summon 1 level 8 dragon monster from your deck. That's really, because it's really easy to get 2 dragons. And then you can search any dragon and special summon it from your deck. This strikes me, and mostly just because of Mokuba's Dragonic level up cards, like Mokuba's level 50 reward card. You get Dragonic Tactics, it's a one of in the game. But why is it on the Limit-3 ban list? If you control Toon World, target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Special summon 1 Toon monster from your hand or deck whose level is less than or equal to the level or rank of that monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. Free Dark Magician Girl. Again, I think that this could be a one of level 50 Pegasus reward card. Armityle, the Chaos Phantom. You control Yuria, Hamon, and Raviel. And then you can banish those 3 and get this big, huge card. Gains 10,000 attack during your turn only. We on YouTube think that we know YouTube decks, but Konami invented YouTube decks with Armityle, the Chaos Phantom. You think that farming him is hard, but then, you just buy... Like as an end boss for GX World Chronicles, after we get Hamion and Raviel, we already have Uriah. As an end boss for the fourth and final GX Chronicles, you have to overcome Armityle, the Chaos Phantom, and just pay for Canadia in order to do so. Could this come to Duel Links? Yeah, sure. Because nobody will ever be able to use it in PvP. Phantom of Chaos. Your opponent takes no battle damage from attacks involving this card once per turn. You can target one effect monster in your graveyard, banish the target, and if you do until the end phase, this card's name and original attack become that monster's name and original attack, and replace this effect with that monster's original effects. You must control this face-up card to activate and resolve this effect. Free-to-play Gozuki. Your one Gozuki dies, and then you play Phantom of Chaos. And also I like it because I made a video about why I will dig for Sangan. And Sangan, in my mind, can replace, like if you lack copies of Snipe Baby, Snipe Hunter, you can replace them with Sangan, and then Sangan can replace other cards because it searches. And so can Phantom of Chaos, but less easily because the card already has to be in the graveyard. Clear World. So there's like a bunch of detrimental effects. It's a field spell. During each of your end phases, pay 500 LP or destroy this card. Each player receives certain effects depending on the monster attributes they control. Light. Play with your hand revealed at all times. Dark. If you control 2 or more monsters, you cannot declare an attack. Earth. During your standby phase, target one face of a defense position monster you control. Destroy it. Water. During your end phase, discard 1 card. Fire. During your end phase, take 1,000 damage. Wind. You must pay 500 life points to activate a spell card. Can this come to Duel Links? I don't think so, because the dark, the water, and the wind effects... No, and dark, water, and fire effects are all very, very detrimental. And I think that it's too strong, but I think that the argument could be made for it being a debugging card because it's checking the attributes of the monsters. Sea King Dragon, garbage normal. Solar Ray, inflict 600 points of damage to your opponent's life points for each face-up light monster on your side of the field. Combo with DNA Transplant, or, just a bunch of light monsters in a trap stall deck, making stall even stronger. Again, the argument could be made for this being a debugging card, but then for the third or fourth time, James, why is it on the ban list? I don't know, 600 points is kind of a lot, isn't it? For a burn deck. But then the burn deck has to use light monsters, but then they just use Karibos. So, I don't know. I'm not sure about Solar Ray. Howl of the Wild. When a monster you control destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each face of beast-type monster you control. Can this come to Duel Links? Absolutely. Absolutely. It'll be like a rare and a forest-themed mini-box, and no one will ever use it. Hope for escape. If your opponent's LP is at least 1,000 higher than yours, pay 1,000 LP. Draw one card for every 2,000 points difference between your LP and your opponent's. Under normal Duel Links conditions, you can draw at most one card with this, because we have at most 4,000 LP, unless you're running Snatch Steal, and then you can, if your opponent has a bunch of life points, you can draw multiple cards, but we would have to have Snatch Steal first. So Hope for Escape can definitely come to Duel Links, because it's basically just Jar of Greed under normal circumstances. Horn of Light, actually a better version of Horn of the Unicorn. Increases the defense of a monster equipped with this card by 800 points. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, if you pay 500 life points, this card returns to the top of your deck. So it's optional. Mind Drain. Activate this card by paying 1,000 LP. Effects of monsters in the hand cannot be activated. So, is this effect in the hand correctly tagged? We debug it with Mind Drain. That's what I'm thinking. Can this come to Duel Links? I would say, right now, yes, because effects in the hand are not huge. But then, as soon as they had some effect in the hand monsters that they wanted to bring out, they would have to, put it on the Limit-3, and maybe that's the plan. Maybe they'll let you buy those OP ultra rares, but then when they want to move it along, they're like, okay, now it's on the Limit-3 list, so you're gonna have to choose between it and the other OP cards. Soul Strike. If your LP is 4,000 or less, so just activate. When an attack is declared involving a monster you control and an opponent's monster, pay half your LP and target one face of monster you control. It gains attack equal to the deficit between your current LP and 4,000 until the end of your opponent's turn. You can only activate one Soul Strike per turn. So actually, this could be a game ender, because you could have basically no life points, and then your opponent attacks into your monster, and they get big, huge damage, right? You could have add 3,500 attack to your monster. That could be lethal, even if it's your small monster versus their big monster. It could inflict 2,000 points of lethal damage. A bit of a reverse Wall of D. I'm assuming you're not using it on your turn. You could use it on your turn, attack, and then have your monster be protected. That's also. But I think even though it would only last for one turn on the end of your opponent's turn, I think it's better to use it on your opponent's attack. Similar to Wall of D. Can this be added to Duel Links? I want it to be, because it gives the good comeback potential, and it happens on attack declaration, which is something that's easily dealt with all of the expensive back row removal. Deck Devastation Virus, tribute to Dark with 2,000 more attack. Look at your opponent's hand, all monsters they control, and all cards they draw until the end of the third turn. Destroy all those monsters with 1,500 or less attack. Debugging card, most likely. But, in the era of Ubel, that could really, that would be good, right? Because maybe you destroy all their tuner monsters, that's good, but then maybe you destroy Ubel, that's bad. But I guess then you would wait. You would wait and see if it was Ubel or not. Evening Twilight Night. So a Blackluster Soldier monster ritual summon using this card gains these effects. You can only use this effect of Evening Twilight Night once per turn. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, banish it. I assume in that is you tribute Evening Twilight for the Blackluster Ritual summon, and then you can pick one once per turn. You can pick one of these once per turn. You can target one monster your opponent controls, banish it. Yikers! Once per turn, you can banish one random card from your opponent's hand face down until your opponent's next end phase. If this card is banished from your graveyard, you can add one ritual monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Evening Twilight Night once per turn. I don't want this to be added to Duel Links because I don't want ritual monsters to come back. Get out. Full Force Virus. Tribute one dark monster, 2,000 or more defense. Check your opponent's hand all monsters they control and all cards they draw until the end of their third turn after this card's activation. Destroy all his monsters with 1,500 or less defense. So Duke Shade's time to shine, but also weak to Yubel. This card would be hilarious right now. Tulatin, which is incidentally also the name of a city in Oregon. If you control 2 or more monsters at the start of your opponent's battle phase, and all of them were destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand during that battle phase. And if you do, choose an attribute and destroy all face-up monsters with that attribute. Your opponent cannot normal or special summon monsters with that attribute. Yikes! But I mean, like, that sounds crazy. But if you have a Canadia, that doesn't have to happen. I mean, the things get destroyed, but then the drawback doesn't happen. Wow. I mean, how many debugging cards do they need? Because they have, was it Clear Force, Clear World? So, like, Clear World would debug for the same thing as Tulatin, right? Can this come to Duel Links? I would like it to. I would like some Big Poggers Tulatin comeback. That's the card I can understand. Balloon Lizard, the funniest card on this fake ban list. Put one counter on this card during each of your standby phases. When this card is destroyed, inflict damage to the controller of the card that destroyed. Put one counter on this card during each of your standby phases. When this card is destroyed, inflict damage to the controller of the card that. Okay, yes, so basically your opponent that destroyed it equal to the number of counters times 400. So you put Balloon Lizard on the field. Each turn you feed him Taco Bell, and his intestines swell with noxious gases until he finally pops, and you blow the fumes over to your opponent, and they take 400 points of damage per turn, per Taco Bell. I like it. Can definitely come to Duel Links. Token Feast Evil, not to be confused with Token Festival. When a token is special summoned, destroy as many tokens on the field as possible. Inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each token destroyed. Counters token decks. Can definitely be added to Duel Links because token decks have token representation. Haha. Final countdown. Pay 3,000 LP after 20 turns have passed, counting the turn you activate this card as the first turn. You win the duel. So tech choice for stall decks. Run 2 at the most. And can stall decks also make use of Tulatin? Anyway, final countdown. Because, it's easy to say, oh, yeah, this can be added to Duel Links, because every duel is decided by, turn 10 or 12. Easy. But you have to remember that the stall decks are they're waiting. They're hiding. They're like hiding under your bed, waiting to leap out. And this is the kind of thing that's going to make them leap out and gouge the meta. So I'd be careful about the final countdown. Hunter Owl gains 500 attack for each face-up wind monster you control. While you control another face-up wind monster, your opponent cannot select this card as an attack target. Maxes out at 15 plus 5 plus 5. 2,500 attack. That's cute. 2,500 attack wind monster. I guess he's okay. If we have some other wind special summons to go with him. Ooh, this and Spore. Hunter Owl and Spore. Maybe. Injection Fairy Lily. If this card attacks or is attacked during damage calculation, you can pay 2,000 LP once per battle. This card gains 3,000 attack during that damage calculation only. But nobody's going to attack in there. But, Spike Shield. Spike Shield automatic game ender, because that's what? That's 2000 LP for 34 plus, no, 34 plus 500 from Spike Shield, right? It's 500 defense and the gains. So it's 34 plus 2000, 5400 attack for injection fairy Lily. So, yeah, you one injection fairy and then one lava golem. Finish them off. Mysterious Guard, flip, target one face-up monster on the field. If you control a face-up warrior type monster, you can target one additional face-up monster on the field. Return the first target to the top of the deck, then return the additional target, if any, to the hand if you still control a face-up warrior type monster. It's like Hane Hane with extra stuff. Generally, I don't think his activation condition will go off for the bonus. For the bonus return, so can this be added to Duel Links? I think so. Water Monix has a much more interesting OCG card art, and it transforms the water overflowing from a jar into attacking dragons. That sounds awesome. Garbage normal. Bean Comedian, toss a coin and call it. If you call it right, all your opponent's cards in the graveyard are removed from play immediately. If you call it wrong, send the number of cards equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyard from your deck to your graveyard. Could be good. Could be added to Duel Links because it's 50-50. Either way, don't tell me about luck on your side. That's not a real skill. Gravekeeper's Servant. Your opponent must send one card from the top of their deck to the graveyard to declare an attack. So right now, this sounds crazy. But I think as we get more cards that do stuff in the graveyard, more cards that special summon from the graveyard, Gravekeeper's Servant will be like a more iffy proposition, and that's probably why it's unlimited in the TCG. Well, also the TCG has much bigger deck size, and that doesn't really matter. Damage Condenser. When you take battle damage, discard one card, special summon one monster from your deck with attack less than or equal to the battle damage you took in face-up attack position. You can use this to search for, even if it's just a small attack, you can use it to search for your tuners. I think Damage Condenser could definitely come as an ultra rare because we have this in spell form, and it's called Unexpected Die. I mean, kind of similar, sort of similar. Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Tribute one dark with 2,500 or more attack. Declare one type of card, spell or trap. Look at your opponent's hand. All spells and traps they control and all cards they draw until the end of their third turn at this card's activation. Destroy all cards of that type. Are these new spells, are these new traps properly tagged in the game as spells and traps? Garbage Fusion. Garbage Zanky. If he's not already in the game, he will be. Proof of Powerlessness. Activate only while you control a face-up level 7 or higher monster. Destroy all face-up level 5 or lower monsters your opponent controls. Monsters you control cannot attack this turn. So, an even more cancerous version of Canadia. Maybe that's why they nerfed Break Up the Sleeve. I like this because this encourages the clash of the boss boys. But I don't think that they would add this to Duel Links. I think it's probably just checking for like level 5 or lower monsters. But again, James, why is this on the ban list? I have no idea. I'm just trying to justify reality. Beginning Night, it's similar to Twilight Evening Night, has a number of effects for your ritual summoned BLS. And it also, so if you do Twilight Night, or Beginning Night and Twilight Evening Night, can the Black Luster banish 2 monsters your opponent controls per turn? That would be nuts. Cursed Armaments. If an equipped monster loses 600 attack for each monster you control, when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, equip it with this card. So I think, because it says when and it's optional, so I think it misses timing. So even though you can goof up one of your opponent's monsters and the card keeps coming back, like you can cause it to miss timing and make the so if you Treacherous Trap hold your own monster at Chainlink 2, Cursed Armaments goes to the graveyard at Chainlink 2 or 3 or 4, and it misses timing. So I don't think that this is too crazy. I think that this could be added to Duel Links. Chaos Trap Hole. Light or Dark would be summoned. Pay 2,000 LP. Negate the summon of a Light or Dark. And if you do, banish it. I think we have Void Trap Hole, and that's more useful and not used. So Chaos Trap Hole could be added and will not be used. And finally, Smashing Horn. When a monster effect or trap card is activated that negates the normal or special summon of a monster, negate the activation and destroy it. So can definitely be added. It'll go in the pile of unused and highly specific counter trap cards. And I think we're back to Kekapak Apu. So I hope you've enjoyed this very long dive into this new data that was provided by the Duel Links leaked skill. If you watched it until the end of this video, my most heartfelt thank you for watching.